Good morning and welcome to Inside Tennessee. I'm John Becker. This week, the face of Knox County government underwent a major makeover as 12 term-limited positions were filled by nominees appointed by county commissioners. The process took only a couple of hours but has ignited serious controversy, certainly. Citizens are criticizing both the process and the outcome, complaining that too many commission family members and political insiders received the sought-after appointments. We have many of the players in this week's political drama with us tonight, with us this morning. County commissioners, as you can see, Lumpy Lambert on the end there, John Griess and R. Larry Smith. Our panelists here, as a regular, Jack McElroy with the News Sentinel, Susan Williams, SRW and Associates, and my good friend Dennis Francis, always my wingman here on the right side. Thank you, sir.
Good morning.
Good morning.
We're going to start with you on down the line, and thank you all for coming and making time for us again, because I know you've had a busy few days. I want to start with a yes-no question. Was the process that we saw this week fair?
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Did we get the best people possible? Did we get the best nominees possible for each district seat? Commissioner Lambert?
I believe so.
It wasn't a requirement of the Supreme Court that we get the best, but that we make appointments, and we fulfilled that requirement and obligation.
I think we could have done better. I think there are several that I interviewed, and that's why I made the nominations I did, because I felt like I did some homework with it, and there were some other people that could have been on the slate.
And Jack, I want to get to you because we saw a lot of headlines this week about secrecy, things done outside the public eye. Tell me about what your paper found, and what questions you have for these folks.
Well, I don't think, at least from what was demonstrated, it wasn't apparent that the Commission understands the Open Meetings Act as I think we understand it, and as I think it's been interpreted by the courts. States that members of a body such as this may not deliberate outside of the public meeting. And in fact, the exact opposite occurred. The meeting, if anybody got a chance to watch it, was one in which no deliberation was permitted in public. There was no discussion. If any point in the discussion arose where there was a need to hammer out differences, recesses were declared so that none of that would occur in public. And so I guess my question is, how do you all interpret the Open Meetings Act, the Sunshine Law?
Commissioner Lambert, or John, go ahead.
Let me take a shot at that, Jack. The process that was prescribed for us to follow was a difficult process, and I will say to you that I would argue the point about deliberations in the hall, and it may be wordsmithing, but there was significant lobbying going on in the hall. But I don't think any conversation that I heard, and many commissioners stayed right there in the great room, I guess for the very reason that they didn't want to be perceived as out making deals in the back room. But we had to make decisions, and commissioners lobbied other commissioners for the people they thought were the best candidates. For whatever reason, I can't tell you the motivation of each commissioner, but this notion that deal making and the business of the county was done behind closed doors is a great headline for you all to publish. But in fact, we were trying to make difficult decisions. The hardest thing we have to do as commissioners, I think, is to make appointments, because there are a lot of people that want them. There are a lot of good people that want them. And we've got to figure out some way to come up with 10 votes to get somebody in there to fulfill our obligation.
So you're saying you didn't follow the law because it's hard?
I'm saying your interpretation of the law may be different than ours, or your perception that the business was really done behind closed doors. I'll argue that point. I'll say that's not the case.
I was just going to ask, if commissioners lobbying other commissioners, does that not technically violate the Sunshine Law?
I don't think so. I'm going to tell you, every month there are resolutions that come before County Commission, and they're the idea of someone. Many times that resolution is the idea of another commissioner, and it's not, in my opinion, inappropriate nor unusual for a commissioner to call others and say, I sure would like to have your vote for this particular resolution.
That's done regularly.
That's the way we do business, and it's not that we're trying to quid pro quo the resolution. You do this and I'll do that. We believe it's a good idea, and we need commission support to get it passed.
I want to pick up on something you said, John, because you talked about getting to the best candidates. And Commissioner Lambert, we saw a lot of people interested in these races, something like 69 people at least applied. But we only saw a handful, a minute amount of people who were actually nominated. In fact, we showed on our air, you know, when the process got started for J.J. Jones to be sheriff, I mean, nobody even had a nomination until I think it got to you. So tell me about that. What's your reaction to that? If we had some qualified candidates, how come so few nominees?
It was, well, it was done differently in each district. I can only say to how it was done in my district. Me and Commissioner Mark Kaywood at the time, we looked at potential applicants. We looked at them fairly. We looked at them very closely. In the end, you know, Sharon Kaywood was the absolute best choice based on the stipulations. Now, we have some traditions in our district that I wanted to honor. We generally, the 6th District, elects someone from the Karnes, Hardin Valley, Solway area, and we generally elect someone from the Powell area. I live in the Powell area, so I was looking for someone who lived in the Karnes, Solway, or Hardin Valley communities. Now, we also had a Democrat in that seat, and I wanted to replace with a Democrat. I did not want to have a party turnover in my district, so I was looking primarily at 6th District Democrats. And because the commission was losing its only female member, I felt it important to seek out qualified female applicants. Now, when we started looking at those, now early on we thought about Sharon Kaywood because there was a point where Sharon Kaywood almost tried to get on the ballot herself. She actually, if I'm not mistaken, filled out a petition. But unfortunately, the ballot was locked in place. So early on, she was a consideration. But when a female Democrat in that side of the district, well, you know, she stood out.
Well, Commissioner, I want to bring you into this. Sure. What was your impression of that process? Was that frustrating?
Well, I took a different approach. I took it like a job interview. I counted over 78 people that were running for office. I interviewed over 72 of them, either talked to them or saw them in person, and I rated them on a scale of 1 to 5. Then, if my person that I thought was best for that position was out in the first voting round, then I better be ready for my number 2 vote, my number 3 vote, my number 4 vote. So that's how I approached it. I tried to get, like Commissioner Lambert said, I wanted a good mixture. I nominated women, black people, Republicans, Democrats, and, you know, I went for the best person for that district.
Thank you all for coming in, and we're going to get back with more and some of those winners who won appointments right after this.